that have created America, with the hope that it will be a source of joy and inspiration to all the world.
Whoa. Okay. Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to another video. Today, the topic, Halloween Horror Nights. So, sorry if I look a little crazy. Planning to do some self-care after this. So, anyways, that's besides the point. Let's get to it. So, if you watched our last video, I went ahead and gave you guys all the information that you need to know about Oogie Boogie Bash. So, today I decided, you know what? Let's sit down, give the people some information because I don't gatekeep and I want everybody to have the opportunity to do things that I enjoy and that bring me joy. So we're going to go ahead and start off the video just kind of giving some background. Sorry, I'm kind of cold. Giving some background on what Halloween Horror Nights is, how you can access it, so on and so forth. So let's get into it. So first and foremost, Halloween Horror Nights is a haunt or scare event similar to that of Knott's Scary Farm, which people are familiar with, and just other haunt events, Fright Fest at Six Flags, things like that. So this one specifically is at Universal Studios. There's one in Japan, there's one that happens here in Hollywood, and then Orlando, and I think Singapore, there's one more. There's like 4 different locations where Halloween Horror Nights happens. They're all a little bit slightly different, but, you know, I've only ever been, no, I lied. I've been to the one in Orlando. We went 2 years ago. So Halloween Horror Nights, like I said, is a haunt event. What they have at these events, or with the price of admission, what you get is access to these exclusive mazes that won't be accessible to regular guests that only have the regular theme park tickets. So this is its own separate ticketed event. It normally started like you can get into the park at 5:36 roughly, and you were able to start doing the mazes on the lower lot. But this year there's been so many changes, so now I believe for everybody it's like at 7, and the times for these events and these days vary based on the day, because I think on certain days they close like at 12 or 1, and there are other days where they're open till 2 in the morning. So in the past, Horror Nights used to refer to their houses as mazes, and that changed when last year John Murdy, you know, who is the creative director behind Horror Nights, he's the one that, you know, sits down with his creative team, plans out these houses, the scares, all of that. He's the one that said, no, I don't want you guys to call them mazes, because mazes literally make you feel like you're just in a maze, and they're very like lackluster. And so he said, no, these are houses. And so now they are themed houses. There are 8 of them. So far we've had 2 house announcements. So that first one being the Chucky one that's based on the sci-fi show that was announced last year. And then the one that we recently got maybe about a week or 2 ago is The Last of Us, which is based off of the video game, which I've never played the video game and I've never watched the show, so I got to do some catching up. But what else is included in the Horror Nights event? So besides the haunted houses that you'll be getting, the 8 haunted houses, you also have access to attractions. So Jurassic World will be available, and typically they used to do Jurassic Park in the dark when it was Jurassic Park, and all the lights would be off. So they have Jurassic World open. They'll have The Mummy open. Transformers is open. I believe the Simpsons ride is open. I'm trying to remember. The Harry Potter rides are both open. I don't remember. I don't think Secret Life or like the Minions are open. But yeah, you have attractions that are open, and typically there's like no waits for these rides. Something new for this year that I heard is Super Nintendo World will be open, but it's only available if you have like the day-night pass. So yeah, you'll have access to rides, and funny enough, I'll see if I can find the picture, but one year at Horror Nights, or last year at Horror Nights when we went, there was a point when me and Cody got on Jurassic World, and it was just the 2 of us in a boat. So I'll put that picture somewhere here on the screen, but it was hilarious. And I was like, this is probably never going to happen again. So I'm going to buy these photos for once and have a little keepsake in memory. So there's also the scare zone. So as you're walking into the park, that's considered a scare zone. It's where the actors will be right in the middle of the street, and they'll kind of like act like they're doing their own thing. And then out of nowhere, like they'll start chasing you. Some of them have like weapons in their hands or make, you know, different noises to imitate the characters that they're playing. If you run, they will chase you. They don't encourage running at all, and they'll kind of get mad at you if you run, but do not run, do not scream, because they will only follow you. They do not go into the stores or like Starbucks, anything right there. So I guess that's your safe zone if you really don't want to be scared or you get scared that easily. I just think they're funny, especially because for me, I guess I'm a female, so we're supposed to get scared. But I'm pretty like stone-faced when it comes to getting scared. Like even once you go into the houses, Cody would be behind me screaming while I'm the one leading, and I would just like be there laughing because I don't know, I really love horror. So I already also have been through these houses enough to know where the jump scares are going to happen. It's kind of rare for them to be in a spot that I won't already predict them to be. So as I'm like going through these houses, you know, the scare actors see that I'm coming and think like, oh, let's scare her because she's a girl, probably. I'm pretty sure that's what goes in their mind. And like I've had some scare actors get pretty close to my face, but I don't flinch or anything. And Cody ends up jumping behind me, and I just kind of like smile because the whole time I'm going through these mazes, I'm like appreciating all the details, because especially when they're based off of movies or shows that you really love, that's something that just really grabs my attention and like excites me. So like example, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, they've done it twice already. Both times, like I like the movie because it's like the cheesy cult classic, but it's very cool to like almost step into the movie set. It's pretty crazy how like good they are with the details. So it's just things like that I'm like, oh wow, that's amazing. But I digress. So the scare zone. So the main entrance, another scare zone. Well, back in the day, they used to have the toxic tunnel, which would take you to like the lower lot. Like the, what do they call it? I think they called it the New York. No, not New York. Shoot, I'm blanking. But like the lower lot sets that you normally pass when you're going on the tram ride. When you take the tram and you go up by where the picture cars are, that area that's down there, that's where they used to let us go because they would have like 2-3 mazes down there. But they've since stopped that, I think like pre-pandemic. So now the scare zones are located, you'll exit the maze through right there by Mal's Diner, and it'll be the Parisian area. There's typically a scare zone there. I already told you the entrance. Another one, oh, now in Harry Potter they added Death Eaters, so I think that technically counts as a scare zone because they'll have Death Eaters just kind of wandering and hiding in the little town streets and like come out at you. Some of them are obvious and they're like on display with like smoke and stuff, but that's another one. But yeah, those are the scare zones for the most part. Another thing that's included, so last year, there were, well, it's been for several years now where they have the Jabberwockies. So if you know the Jabberwockies, they're the dance crew from America's Next Best Dance Crew. They've had a contract with Horror Nights for a while now. So like every year they would bring, you know, a collaboration of some of their old stuff with newer songs and newer stuff. So that's been really cool to enjoy. This year though, on the website so far, it still says that there's going to be live entertainment. I don't know how that's going to work because the soundstage which they performed in was the special effects soundstage that's right there next to The Simpsons. That's in the process of being demolished. And so is the building that was next to it, which is where Animal Actors was. Universal's like tearing that whole area down. So I don't know how that's going to work. I don't know if that building's going to be completely gone by the time, you know, Horror Nights happens. I don't know. Universal, I don't know what their plan is, but I don't know where they would put the live entertainment now, because they can't use Waterworld, because typically they put a maze in Waterworld in the queue area and like the front part of Waterworld. And then, yeah, I don't know where they would put a live show. So I'm interested to see if the Jabberwockies come back and if there will be a live show. There's also like any event themed food and drinks that you can get at the different, you know, quick service locations. The food options in the Simpsons area will also be open. Nothing's really special about that. They just keep with the same food and drinks. And then there's also themed merchandise. So every year I love to get the themed merchandise. Typically I try to get a sweater every time, because Horror Nights happens between, well, sometimes it would start like at the end of August, but like September to early November. And, you know, some of those nights, because they're very late at night, it would get freezing. So if I would just check the weather before you go to the event, but typically I try to buy a sweater. So this was one of last year's sweaters. They kind of did it, you know, they had different merchandise that was based on each house. So for, you know, obviously Halloween, Michael Myers. This is the front of it. It says Halloween Horror Nights 2022. And then the back, this is the back of the sweater. I don't know if you can see. Let me go down. This is the back of the sweater. And they also had shirts like this too. So if you didn't want a sweater, they had shirts. Sometimes they'll have long sleeves. So they've just been coming out with like a lot of different merch. Sometimes they'll also have like glasses, mugs, different t-shirts. What else? Just a lot of stuff. Masks, like Halloween masks of like the different characters from the different, you know, movies or shows, whatever. So they have like a variety of merchandise. So I would try to pick up a little something. I'm not trying to be a bad influence or anything, but yeah. Okay, so now, because I get excited. I'm sorry, I get really excited when it comes to Horror Nights and horror, because I've been going since my second year of college. And when I ended up going initially, it was like a last minute thing. Back in college, I had thrown a Halloween party at my apartment, and, you know, I think it was the night of or the next, it might have been the next morning, because some people had slept over. The next morning, we all kind of woke up late, and I don't know how I even looked into Horror Nights, but I think I've always like known about it, but I didn't consider going until then. So I remember that just spontaneously that morning, you know, we were all like, hey, let's go to Horror Nights tonight. And there was like a group of 8 to 10 of us, I think. And we ended up going, and ever since then, so that must have been 2014. From 2014 to now, I've been going every year. So it's almost been 10 years. Next year will be 10 years that I've been going to Horror Nights. So I absolutely love it. Definitely entertaining. It's amazing. You know, of course, they'll do some of the same mazes over, but I don't know. 10 out of 10 for me, 1,000 out of 10. Like, I love Horror Nights. But let's get into the details now, such as the dates, ticket prices, and what's changing, because Universal is changing a lot. So I stand corrected for the dates. So for this year's event dates, it says it'll be from select nights starting September 7th to October 31st. So before, they would go to like November 2nd, November 3rd, November 4th, something like that. This year is just to October 31st. And then there are different, and I'll put it here on the screen, there are different buying options when it comes to buying Horror Nights tickets. So you can do general admission. They have Universal Express, which is similar to like the daytime Universal Express. They have what's called the Universal Express Unlimited, the 2 p.m. day-night pass, the after 2 p.m. day-night pass express. Then there's the RIP tour. And then lastly, something that's super new to Horror Nights is the Halloween Horror Nights Early Access ticket, which is similar to what Universal Studios already does for Super Nintendo World. So basically, if you want to get in before everybody else does and kind of enjoy shorter crowds, which is something that was available before, you would be able to show up at 5:30 if you had a ticket already, like you had bought it online. You were able to enter the park at 5:30 and go down to the lower lot where the mazes would start opening as early as 6 p.m. So now that's something that you have to pay extra for, which is kind of annoying. And when I was looking at it earlier, so it varies based on the day that you go, and I'll include that all here too. So for some days you can get in early, which is at 5:30, starting at $10, and the most expensive that it goes to is $20, and that's for early access. And I'll give you the terms and conditions here. So it says, this ticket includes general admission to selected haunted houses starting at 5:30 p.m. Changes subject to availability. Early event access begins at 5:30. Check the Universal app. This ticket is not valid for Halloween Horror Nights admission on its own. So no, you can't get in for just $10 and go to the mazes. It has to be the price of a ticket with the early access. Daytime admission to the park is not included, obviously, unless you have the day-night pass. And access to Super Nintendo World during Halloween Horror Nights is not included. Valid at Universal Studios Hollywood location only. So again, if you want to get into Horror Nights, it's 5:30. Now they're charging us, so that's going to be kind of annoying. But let's go to general admission. So for general admission, the event officially begins at 7 p.m. This ticket does not include early access to the event. And then I'll put the prices and dates for general admission on the screen as well for you. So let's go through that. So the event will be held on Thursdays, some Wednesdays, Thursday, Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays. Those are the Horror Nights days. Obviously, at the beginning of the event, because you know the scare actors are still getting into the groove of their scares and getting like the feel of the mazes and stuff. Ticket prices are typically less, especially because people tend to want to go to Horror Nights closer to Halloween. So starting price for general admission for Horror Nights starts at $74. Obviously on the weekends or Saturdays specifically, it'll go up a little bit. So you'll see $87, $89, $99 general admission. And then as we head into October, in October it goes up a little bit more. So again, you have Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. I'm surprised how many Wednesdays they're including this year, because in previous years and last year it was just like one here and one there. But now it looks like pretty much they've got a lot of Wednesdays going on. And ticket prices are going to get as high as $107 for general admission. And those two most expensive days will be on October 21st and 28th. But again, that's for general admission, entry at 7 p.m. If we go back. So Universal Express. For the Universal Express, it says enjoy. Ticket includes one-time per day express access to each haunted house ride, excluding Mario Kart and attraction. Daytime admission to the park is not included, and neither is access to Super Nintendo World, and event begins at 7. So even if you have Universal Express, you still don't get in until 7. But basically this gives you like a front of the line for each one of the mazes one time. And that's regular Universal Express. There's also Universal Express Unlimited. For Universal Express Unlimited, it says includes unlimited express access per day to each haunted house, ride, and attraction. So you'll get the houses, the rides, and the attractions, again, starting at 7 p.m. and no early access for that either. So for the regular Universal Express, the price for that is... Oh, I lied. So Universal Express Unlimited is unlimited express access to each haunted house ride. So you get you can ride, get express for both the attractions and rides and houses with both of them. But that's only one for the regular express. For the unlimited, it's unlimited. So just not the early access. And then, so ticket prices for starting for regular Universal Express are $209 per person. And then for Universal Express Unlimited, it starts at $249. And let me check for most expensive real quick for this one, because I know a lot of people like to get these. And I'll include the prices here on the screen for Unlimited. but the most expensive would be $309. It looks like. Let me see. Oh, I lied. $349 is the most expensive for Universal Express Unlimited. And a lot of people like to do the Express and Express Unlimited because they only plan on going to Horror Nights once. And typically Horror Nights houses, the lines can get pretty long, especially as the event has grown in popularity over the years. So what can end up happening is if you just go, you know, one night or one day, you won't be able to do all the mazes unless you have the Express Pass, because then you won't have to wait in those long lines. You'll be able to maximize your time. So that's a benefit. If you plan on only going once to Horror Nights, you will get to do everything in one night, still have extra time to do like anything else you want to do, because you're going to be at the front of the line. And so I think that's a better experience for somebody that only goes, you know, one time, is the Universal Express option. And then the day-night pass. So the 2 p.m. day-night pass is starting at 2 p.m., you'll get general admission to the park, and then they give you wristbands. So when the time changes for you to stay in the event, at 5:30, when everybody with early access starts to come in, you get to stay there. And so it says, after 2 p.m., general admission to the park, same day general admission to Horror Nights, and ticket includes same day access to Super Nintendo World from 7 to 10 p.m. So if you have the 2 p.m. day night pass, you can also go to Super Nintendo World from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. And then of course the early access at 5:30. And then, so that's like if you want to enjoy early access, but also do regular Universal before Horror Night starts. The prices for that start at $149. And let me see what the most expensive is. So starting at $149, it goes up to $182 for the most expensive day. So that's for the 2 p.m. day-night pass. And then something that I can only dream of doing, but I don't know if it'll ever happen anytime soon, is the RIP tour. So the RIP tour, it includes a lot. It's pretty expensive. It starts at $349, I want to say, or $329, but it includes a lot. So you get to enjoy, where is it? Sorry. An exclusive guided VIP tour. You get reserved VIP seating, entry to each haunted house, like the Express basically. You get a guided walking tour of the event, so you have somebody that's there with you, kind of giving you the background on what's going on with the event. You'll also get, let me see, the Universal Express Unlimited. You also get daytime admission to the, daytime admission to the park is not included. Access to Super Nintendo World during Horror Nights is not. Oh, that's actually interesting. So this year for the RIP tour, Super Nintendo World is not included. Early access to the event is not included. And it looks like, yeah, you don't even get like 2 p.m. access to the event either. It's literally just for Horror Nights at 7 p.m. You get front of the line, you get a guided walking tour, and then like exclusive VIP seating for whatever shows they have going on. But you do also get an exclusive Universal Backlot Halloween experience with a private VIP trolley. And then it also includes a dinner in a VIP dining room, which excludes alcoholic beverages. And then you also get complimentary valet parking for one vehicle. So the RIP tour is cool if you want to, go to the front of the lines for all the mazes, rides, and attractions. If you want the special VIP seating for any of the shows, which again, like we said, we don't know if the shows are going to happen or where they're going to happen. But if you want the VIP seating for the shows, it's cool for that. It gives you the dining, which is already included in the price of your ticket. And then you get to do, I forgot to bring this up earlier, but you get to do the studio tour in their private little tour bus thing where you'll actually be able to get off and like take pictures and stuff like that with your tour guide. For the tour, the tram tour, Halloween Horror Nights does what's called the Terror Tram. Every year it's the regular tram, but what happens is they'll take you to the lower lot, kind of make a story plot going. So as you're going down there in the dark, you're watching on the screens like a story. So for The Purge, they were like obviously saying like oh my God, people are taking over. And then when you got down there, it was like purge elements. They've done Harry the clown, Hollywood Harry, which is like this evil clown. They made up a backstory about that and how he like roamed the universe a lot. They come up with stories every year. So they haven't announced what this year's Terror Tram is going to be, but they'll drive you down to the lower lot, drop you off next to the Bates Motel, and you have to walk all the way back up through, so walk through the Bates Motel, walk up the hill in front of Norman Bates' mom's house, and then you walk through the War of the Worlds set, and then I think because of Nope now, you walk, so after you pass War of the Worlds, you walk across the street, go through the Nope set, and then they pick you up, like right kind of near where the Fast and the Furious ride is for the tram. So all that way, they do have scare actors that are, you know, based on whatever the theme of the tram is, that are going to be scaring you during those moments. So that's always fun. Another fun thing to do during the Halloween Horror Nights time at Universal Studios. But that's the RIP tour. Let me check. I don't know if pricings vary for this. I think it might. Let's see. Lord have mercy. So if you were to go on the very first day of Horror Nights in the beginning, your average price for the RIP tour is going to be $379 per person. And then if you were to go in October, it's going to be $489 a person, which is kind of a lot. I think it would be more worth it at the lower price, but not so much at the higher price, especially if you don't get any extra added bonuses for that price. Like, you're going to get the same package deal that people that go early on are going to get if you go later. So, yeah, it's kind of up to you, bang for your buck. But that's the RIP tour. Now, what I recommend, and I've been doing since, you know, the first time, probably after the first year I went to Horror Nights, is the Frequent Fear Pass. And that's something that, you know, somebody told me about. The Frequent Fear Pass, basically, you get 30 nights, up to 30 nights to go into Horror Nights. So they have like blockout dates on the schedule for you to go, and I'll put that all up here. But starting at $209, so it went up a little bit from last year. For $209, you get up to 30 nights at Horror Nights, beginning on the first day, which is September 7th, and then it gives you the return dates and then the blackout dates. Now, Frequent Fear Pass, again, we used to be able to go in at 5:30. Now they're having you start at 7, so we'll see how that goes. So you'll get to enter at 7 with everybody else. My suggestion is when you buy your tickets, just screenshot it and have it on your phone, because they do scan you as you go in. So with the Frequent Fear Pass, you can go up to 30 times to Horror Nights and not worry about having to, you know, oh, I missed out on this maze. Like, I love the Frequent Fear Pass because, like I said in the beginning, the scare actors are still learning their grooves. So sometimes the houses are like, I want to say those scares at least are a little bit lackluster, and the scares will get better as it goes into October. So you get to kind of see their transitions from the beginning stages of their acting to the end, which is really cool. You don't have to rush to, oh my gosh, I need to do all these mazes now, because the lines are going to get long. So at least, like, oh, if this one was your favorite maze, you can come back to it next time and enjoy it the next time or the next time that you come. And you really don't have, like I said, you don't have to worry about trying to cram everything into this small amount of time. You can space out going to Horror Nights, which is like the best. And then there's the Ultimate Fear Pass, which is $329. You get all 38 nights of Horror Nights with no blackout dates, and that's basically the only difference. So it's it's $120 more. For $120 more, you get 8 more nights, which I don't know if that's necessarily worth it, especially because for the Frequent Fear Pass, if you wanted to go on Halloween, you get Halloween. The only days we can't go are a few days in October. So you pretty much get all of September is included, and just a few nights in October, and I'll put the blackout dates and all of that for you here. But yeah, that's the frequent fear pass and the ultimate fear pass. But yeah, that was a lot of talking. Sorry guys, I know it was kind of long. So that's Halloween Horror Nights in a nutshell. If you're faint of heart and you get scared super easily, maybe don't go to Horror Nights. I can't really speak on, you know, if you're scared whether to go or not, because I love going to Horror Nights. I thrive in horror. Even though I'm a Disney person, I thrive in horror. It's my favorite. It's more enjoyable for me to go through mazes when, you know, they make that maze announcement and then you watch the movie right before you go, because you get to enjoy the little details, because Universal is known for, you know, their movies, the movie magic. So that's the best way to really enjoy the maze, is to watch things or play things, you know, now that we have the video game, play things before we go into Horror Nights so that you can appreciate everything a little bit more and it's fresh in your mind, because you're going to catch yourself like, wow, like look at that. That looks so realistic. Oh, that smells, you know, because they include smells. Oh, that smells horrible. That smells like barbecue. It's just, that's a great way to get yourself ready for it. Again, another thing that I highly recommend is doing the frequent fear pass for $209, which is, I mean, the same price as doing Universal Express for one night. You get to do Horror Nights multiple nights without having to rush through everything. You get to enjoy the entire event starting at 7 p.m. And even if you don't get to do everything all at once, that's fine. Like, you'll have time to go back, to learn, to see what you like. And then, what else? The best way also, if you want to know what mazes are coming out, follow, if you have social media, follow John Murdy on Twitter. Like I said, John Murdy's the creative director, so he will put little like tweets out there hinting to mazes, and then put maze announcements out there. He'll also show like behind the scenes stuff, which is really cool, from like the different props. And then follow Halloween or Horror Nights. I think it's just Horror Nights on Instagram. I'll put their handle here too and their page. Follow Horror Nights on Instagram, because that's where they also make their announcements for the new mazes. So if you want to be like the first one to know and like spread the word to your friends, like, oh my god, this maze is coming, yeah, do that, because that's the best way to stay in tune with what's going on. So thank you guys so much for watching. I know I was talking a lot. Maybe I was talking fast because I get so excited about talking about this. If you have any other questions or concerns about the event, go ahead and leave a comment down below. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe always. Share with your family and friends. Share with any of your horror lovers. And hopefully I see you guys at the event, because we did already buy our frequent fear passes. So see you later. Tickets go fast, so jump on it.